The BJP has a very unproductive habit of fighting quote unquote historical battles. Their first grouse is against Babur, their next quibble is against Aurangzeb, then they'll have a problem with the East India Company, then they'll pick an issue with Lord Cornwallis and Lord Macaulay, then they will diss Queen Victoria, then they will denigrate Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, and they will constantly have a running battle with the Congress party. The issue of Katchatheevu has been settled between two sovereign nations over 50 years ago. Nations enter into pacts. There is a give and take, particularly between neighboring countries. And the issue of Katchatheevu was settled 50 years ago by the government of India and by the government of Sri Lanka. Now to suddenly rake it up and to think that this is some sort of an issue on the ground in Tamil Nadu also clearly shows how divorced the BJP is from the reality of the political reality in Tamil Nadu. Instead of quibbling over an issue which was settled 50 years ago, the BJP government must give a categorical statement about the incursions which has happened in the India-China border, about the fortifications which the Chinese army has built into India, and how many kilometers of Indian sovereign land has been ceded to China. Instead of talking about contemporaneous issues, the BJP will always indulge in events which have happened many eons ago.
I don't see any discrepancy, madam, because now after this document is declassified now, we know for a fact that this was not a deal that was done legitimately. Meaning, 1968, the Indian Prime Minister, Madam Indira Gandhi, and her counterpart from Sri Lanka, Siranayaka ji, both met. Even then, there was a lot of questions over why the meeting happened on Katchatheevu. Now the document, as you are yet to read this, madam, once you read it after the press conference, as a very reputed reporter, you will clearly understand that including the Attorney General and our senior bureaucrats in the Ministry of External Affairs, they are very clear. India has a clear legal right over Katchatheevu. Despite all their file notings, they were overruled. And this Katchatheevu was given without any quid pro quo. So, we have to understand, madam, Katchatheevu was clearly till 1948. It was given by East India Company under the Jamindari rights to Raja of Ramanathapuram from 1875 to 1948. Until then, Raja of Ramanathapuram enjoyed undisputed privileged rights, including collection of pearls from there. And the duty and everything was paid only to the Madras Presidency. Now, after 1948 only, the Ceylon government started raising objections saying that Katchatheevu is part of the Dutch map. At that point of time, when Dutch were invaders in Sri Lanka, they were ruling. So they marked a small dot called some name in Dutch. They say it belongs to us. Now clearly, if you go through all the motions, we can very clearly see, even for Kalaignar Karunanidhi, during the argument presented by the Foreign Secretary, he said that Chinese influence, because of Chinese influence, we have to cede Katchatheevu. There are a lot of oils around Katchatheevu, we got to take it. And all those reasons they have given. What about oil now? After 40 years, is anybody talking about oil near Katchatheevu? So all these things were created alibi just to make sure that Congress was hell-bent on doing it. So I don't see any discrepancy. Maybe today after this document, then you should ask Government of India's their official opinion about Katchatheevu. Madam, they are duty bound to give support, madam, because they have created this problem. And Modi ji is trying to solve this problem. Who created it, ma'am? They created it. And we still remember, Madam Sushma Swaraj ji had to come all the way to Ramanathapuram, pacify our fishermen when they started protesting, when their kith and kin started getting arrested in the high seas. These are the early parts of our government, and even during Vajpayee Ayya's government. Now gone are the days. Now you are seen shooting happening at very high level in the high sea. Now all those things have happened, all those ruckus have happened, and DMK brazenly lying till now about the status of Katchatheevu. Now we believe Article 6 reinstatement step 1, whereby the Tamil Nadu fishermen can go till Katchatheevu, put their fishing nets, and taking back Katchatheevu. Even Nehru ji said Katchatheevu is a small little piece of island with no value. So that is how Congress sees Katchatheevu. That is Nehru ji's position. No value. Except a church, there is nothing. Blade of grass is not there. So now historically, strategically, now because of China and whatever is happening around Sri Lanka, you all know it better. So Katchatheevu should be in India's presence. For us, we are looking very practically. Our fishermen should not suffer. That is our stated position. And the state government is duty bound to support it because they created this problem and we are trying to solve this problem. Sir, I see this as a chief minister of a state blatantly and openly lying. Knowing fully well his father ceded Katchatheevu, he was part of Madam Indira Gandhi's decision illegally without keeping Parliament in the loop. The reason I'm saying this with a lot of confidence, sir, because the Article 1 in the Constitution of India that defines the boundary of a country. And nobody can alter a boundary or include anything to a country without the Parliament's approval. That is Article 1. So in this case, without keeping Parliament was informed by the Home Minister Swaran Singh ji. The Parliament was just informed after the maritime agreement between India and Sri Lanka got signed. Now the cat is out of the bag, where we know the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, then Mr. Kalaignar Karunanidhi ji, was fully aware of it even a month before he gave his concurrence. So now after that his son writing a letter 21 times to the Honorable External Affairs Minister, it only shows even the son wanted something to hide, which is shameful. Sir, I would like to remind you, the Defence Minister Mr. A.K. Antony ji in 2011 in Parliament, he said the best way to retain India's defence is not to do any developmental project in the border area. He said if you do developmental project in the border area, the neighbouring countries will feel threatened. That is why in India's border area, not even a single road was put, not even a tunnel was built. That is A.K. Antony ji of Congress government. Now after we have come, we are securing all the border areas. We are building tunnels, we are building 6-lane roads. The fighter jet bases are getting created, transport flights are getting landed. Now in this context, we all know an aggressive China, when it is trying to take India's land, India is fighting back. What happened in Galwan is a classic case where a bellicose China wanted to take India's territory. And our brave soldiers, we fought it. And we have also secured some high passes now, which is in India's control. Now if there is one party in India which cannot speak about India's territorial integrity, it is Congress party. Sir, you have to understand, now whichever death has happened, so even now when a boat gets seized, picked up, each boat has got a GPS which gets submitted in Sri Lankan court. If the driver is coming for the second time, different punishment, driver different punishment. I am not going to get into it, sir. I will not get into these matters. Now we have to understand the point what I am trying to make. After you have reduced the area of Katchatheevu, your boundary has shrunk. Until then you are going beyond what is so-called the international boundary of India now. So that is what I am arguing. Since you have shrunk the boundary, so whatever has happened in that boundary, it is DMK that is responsible, which is officially a Sri Lankan boundary now.
I am asking about the killing of fishermen by the Sri Lankan Navy. Why not they become the accountable for all these killings?
Correct, sir. Every time killing happens, it is a matter of dispute between two countries. The other country will say, I have entered my boundary, so I have taken the recourse to shooting to stop you despite my warning. That is the other country's argument. Our argument is you are within our boundary. So that is why the matters are in court, that is why we fight it out.
But you say that DMK should take responsibility.
Naturally they should take, Anna, very simple, Anna. This is the boundary, initial boundary. You reduce the boundary here. You have given this boundary to Sri Lanka. So whatever has happened here, who is responsible? It is Sri Lanka.